front and the doms in the back. Ain't taking no flicks, but the whole click's back. There's a whole lot of people in the house. Tryna smoke with the
I'm totally hooked to Beyonce. Ever since this last episode that we recorded, I'm hooked.
Well, I want to hear Blackbird.
It's too sad.
Welcome to another episode of Buddies, Booze, Banter's Unfiltered Conversation. I am Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex.
Hey, Alex. How's it going?
Good, man. I appreciate you.
If we continue to talk for a while, we don't have to listen
I know.
to Rick.
It'll be 30 minutes.
I know. We can do that for 30 minutes.
I'm pretty sure you all don't have 30 minutes in you. That's why I'm here.
I got a whole hour in me. My guy. Hey.
You get me talking about
I love
sports,
dirty
you know, I
jokes.
can talk about that all day long.
I gave you 15 minutes and you only talked for a few minutes.
No, I went over the time limit. I could have talked for the whole entire 30 minutes.
Well, let's do some more pop culture. I don't know if it's let's do pop culture crime right now.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Whose crime is it this time?
Well, I'm not sure what name he's going with. Is it Sean, John, P. Diddy, Puffy, Combs? I mean, he's gone through so many iterations of his fucking name. I just don't get it. I mean, how can you reinvent yourself that many times and still be accepted into the industry?
I guess this means we're not going to have a Puff Daddy collaboration with Missy Elliott reunite. Super Bowl. Next Super Bowl.
Not gonna
Man, that would've been, we can kiss that goodbye.
I mean, we're still trying to figure out where the hell he is, if he's in Antigua or not. So, I mean, he didn't obviously jump on his plane to get to Antigua when the actual raids on his house happened in L.A. and Miami. But still, you know, if everybody actually hasn't heard about there, I mean, this the Sean Combs or P. Daddy or Puffy or whatever his name he's going by nowadays. He obviously had a lawsuit that was actually filed against him back in November of last year by his former partner, and Cassie, I think is her name. And within 24 hours, he had settled that out of court. But that was enough to hit the fucking headlines that the dominoes have continued to fall. And last week, he actually had a raid on his Miami and LA homes by the Homeland Security for human trafficking.
I mean, we know a lot of celebrities have PDAs, and so slowly they are getting out little by little.
Yeah, it's you know, there's no doubt. And who knows who all the additional celebrities are going to be wrapped up in this. Apparently, you know, you've got, you know, Cuban Gooden and, you know, even they supposedly dropped, you know, Prince Harry's name.
Didn't they did Will Smith?
I haven't heard his name, but I mean, maybe. I just don't know. I mean, again, I think that there's going to be a lot of people whose names are actually dropped into this entire thing. You know, and just kind of real quick, brief history of P. Diddy or Puff Daddy or whatever Sean Combs'
Puff
his name
the
is.
Magic Dragon?
Yes, whatever his
Lives
name is.
by the sea.
You know, I mean, he's our age bracket now, Michael. You know, well, mine more than yours, but I mean,
Fuck you.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
He's
what is
54.
that? What does that mean?
So he's only 2 years younger than me.
What Rick's trying to say, just wait for his press release to come out that he's doing.
I mean, he's
things.
acting like there's a big difference between our ages, and there is not.
I'm not in my 60s yet.
I am, but you're close to it.
I'm
Nah,
still
you
like
have
3
6 years
old.
left.
Yes.
You're 54?
No,
I'm 56.
please.
I'm 56.
You think? Oh no, he's not that young.
No,
So I have
he acts
three.
that young,
I have
though.
3 and 4.
You act young.
Okay.
Oh,
So I have 3 and plus.
He was like, wait, what did you
Nobody
just say?
thinks I'm 60. They think I'm younger. You can't even get the straw in your mouth.
You made me speechless with that statement.
Oh, please.
He myth with people.
Speechless.
Now, you
Anyhow,
can probably
let's
tell
kinda-
how this is not our first take because he's a little wasted.
Our first take or our first cocktail?
No, I said first. This is not our first take.
Okay.
I didn't say cocktail because we can tell you've already had a few.
I've had one. I've had one cocktail. You poured it.
This is number 2. Two's a few.
I've had 2 sips out of it. All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
just for the record, Michael, when he pours a cocktail, it's usually 3.
No, it's
One
not.
cocktail-
It's in
yeah.
one glass.
Trust me, it burns going down. Trust me.
Oh, please.
But anyhow, let's go on the
Vodka
history.
doesn't burn going down.
Well, it depends on how much vodka you're putting in there.
Even if you drink,
If you don't have
if
a
you had a
mixer.
vodka shot, it doesn't burn. Now, if it's
Yeah.
tequila will burn going down.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're actually bougie and you have the expensive stuff, it doesn't. It goes down like water.
Well, you are
That's
doing
the-
yours
that's the
is the
best shit.
boozy brand.
First of all, it's not the most expensive brand.
I didn't say that, but I said it was a boozy brand.
I've got some more expensive one at the house. I was giving them to me as a gift. So trust me, I was like, damn, I can't afford that shit.
You notice he keeps changing the subject and not answering the question. He must be a politician.
There was no question asked.
Okay. Let's go to your story.
Anyways.
Everybody's just dying to hear it, so let's hear it.
I mean, just for the record, P. Diddy or Puff Daddy or Sean Combs, whatever his name is, has obviously been around since the 1990s. And he has kind of a sketchy history. There's no doubt about it. So I'm not kind of surprised, based upon what I've seen in his history, that his house got raided, to be honest with you. In the 90s, he was known as Puff Daddy. He founded the Bad Boy Records company, which is really hip hop. He cultivated, talent like Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige and Usher, things of that sort. Usher's one of the other ones kind of looped up in there, as well as Justin Bieber too. In '96, he was not necessarily straight out accused, but there was rumors that he may have participated in the actual murder of Tupac Shakur. Obviously that happened in Las Vegas, and to this day, that murder, even though they have arrested somebody in the last 3 months for that, but apparently which I think will continue to unravel as to who really actually put the hit out. I mean, his vehicle was riddled with bullets. There's no doubt about it.
It's like the Bonnie and Clyde car.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man, I just read where that is. Do you know where that is?
That is in Las Vegas.
I can't remember where.
Yeah, it's in one of those
off strip.
Yeah, the off strip hotels and all that. So yeah, I mean they had like 156 bullet holes in there or something crazy.
I literally saw a picture of it.
She had 26 and he had 17 in his body, to the point where when he was embalming them, they said the embalming kept pouring out of the holes.
That's crazy.
I mean, absolutely incredible. Obviously, another individual who was all kind of suspected was Notorious B.I.G. Simply he was so close to actual Sean Combs or Puff Daddy, whatever his name is. In '97, Notorious B.I.G. was murdered in Los Angeles. I don't know. Are we cleaning up our mess? Let's see. I'm just saying.
So is this a conspiracy or?
Well, the murder side of things is really about money and kind of territory of albums and things of that sort. The actual raid on his houses had nothing to do with that. I think, though, if there's involvement on him, and again, this is just speculation, there's been actual valid information on that, so I want to make that clarified. I'm not sitting there saying he is a suspect for those two murders. I'm not saying that he was involved in those two murders. I'm not saying that the raids on his house in Miami and L.A. are involving those two murders. I don't want to be sued.
All right.
Or defamation.
I would be the first to say I don't listen to you all the time on everything you say, but you said there was a raid. Have you said what the raid was about?
I'm getting there. The history has to go in there.
Oh my
God.
The history's got to go in
there. You
there.
don't know how to... Oh, my God. He loves to drag things out.
The interesting thing out of once Notorious B.I.G. actually was murdered in L.A., that's when Combs stepped into the spotlight as an artist himself. Now, he was always behind the scenes. Now he stepped out there as an artist in '97. In '98, he obviously founded his clothing company, which was a Sean John, which actually did hugely well for him. Billions of dollars, as well as, he got awards and accolades and things of that sort. In 2004, he actually won the Menswear Designer of the Year by the Council of Fashion Designers of America. So now we're going mainstream here. Oh, yes, we did it. We got mainstream. Yay.
I'm still just waiting to see what the raid was.
In 2000, now this, talking about vodkas. In 2007, he became the brand ambassador for the vodka brand Ciroc. That's the other one that I have in my house that costs a fortune. It's like $75 a bottle or something crazy. I'm like, oh. And that's only like a $750. But anyhow, that partnership ended at the tail end of last year, once that lawsuit was filed for the actual.
Oh my God!
So again, that was. But considering the fact that you actually had a good run of 16 years of a relationship, which made him a shitload of money. There's no doubt about it. In 2013, he actually co-founded the television network Revolt. So think about it. You go from a record label to a clothing line to a TV network. I mean, you're making it. I mean, you're really up there. I mean, you're mainstreaming it. You're hobnobbing with everybody, not just on the Hollywood side, but on the political side and the business side. I mean, you're the shit. Late 2023, Cassie Ventura
We're getting closer. It's 2023 now.
filed that lawsuit. All of a sudden,
Just file the lawsuit. Let's go.
February 24, meaning last month, music producer Rodney Little Rod Jones, yes, a guy, files a lawsuit against Combs alleging sexual harassment, drugging, and threats. Now, this obviously is not something that's been settled out of court. And it obviously got into a lot more about racketeering, and it got into human sex trafficking, underage, weapon charges. So the raids that actually did occur last week on his LA and Miami home, they did actually confiscate a lot of guns. They also confiscated a lot of electronics and things of that sort, which, they'll do their forensic analysis and things of that sort. Now, of course, Sean Combs has actually denied anything and everything associated to this. His sons were actually in the LA homes and were actually put in handcuffs when they were doing the raids.
He's got kids?
He does. And I'm whoever his baby mamas are, I don't know. But I mean, but they were put in handcuffs. They were released, of course. He has not been charged. There is no actual, pending indictment supposedly at this time. He apparently, when these raids were happening, was at a Miami private airport, pacing back and forth.
So what's the time now?
Well, 11 minutes.
And we still haven't heard what the raid's about? Keep going.
I already told you what the raid was about.
Did he?
Kara, what did I tell? What did I say?
Yeah. Did he?
Did I not say it already?
We got two.
Sex trafficking.
We got three because you did not make it clear. You were just
Racketeering.
talking about stuff. You didn't. So
Drugs.
there's three of us right here that are still confused about this stuff.
It's a lot. The list is really long.
Well, but
Very long.
He hasn't.
So very
he
long.
hasn't really told us. So just tell. Okay, at this moment, just tell us what the raid. What was the raid?
Sex trafficking, weapons, drugs, sexual assault, racketeering,
Abuse.
Again, the fucking list goes on.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know who comes back from this. I don't care. I mean, I don't mean from a conviction or even just an indictment process, but just from simply a reputation, perception. You can't come back from this shit. I mean, again, Diablo has already walked away from him. He had to resign from Revolt. He gave up everything in Revolt. I mean, literally everything that he had is dwindling away from his assets. Seriously. Now, again, when these raids, like I said, when these raids were actually happening, he was actually at the airport in Miami, a private airport. His plane, his private jet, had already taken off without him on it and landed in Antigua, which, of course, do not have the extradition process. And apparently, again, he was not on the plane, but at this stage, they're not really sure where he is right now. So whether or not he's decided, maybe he has another private plane, who knows? I don't know how far Antigua is off the coast of Miami, but, hey, whatever. But the interesting thing about it is, and this is a kid who actually went, I forget which university. He was a basketball player. I think University of Pennsylvania. Young white kid.
Okay.
Was also arrested at that private Miami airport. That's his drug mule. And he actually had drugs on him.
Wow.
So apparently he was his supplier. He was the one who actually went out there and picked that shit up and brought it into whomever they wanted to. Now, the interesting thing about it, there was an outtake that I actually listened to, and I'm still, again, this is speculation. I'm not really sure exactly the validity of this. And this is actually an individual who's currently in jail, a former associate of his, basically saying, "Bitch, you get arrested, you get put in jail, you better watch yourself because you're going to get shivved. Mm-hmm. They're going to come after you." Because, I mean, you have a...
With a shiv or something else?
I don't know what they're going to... Well, he's not coming out there alive, is what they're saying. Because apparently and this guy was basically saying everything that they're saying about these private, sex rooms and these underage things and this trafficking, it's true. Again, I'm not saying it is. But, I mean, there is a lot of shit that's piling up out there. And, I mean, if he's smart... Go somewhere where you can be extradited because, everybody obviously says, well, how Homeland Security is raiding these two houses. And let me just tell you something. The raid wasn't like, hey, can we come in? No.
Somebody here?
This literally was like a military operation. And they also invited the press. Helicopters, fatigues, guns pulled. I mean, the whole, everything, you name it. You don't do that for something. Maybe there's something there. I'm just saying. Yeah. But my point is, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy or P Daddy or P Diddy, whatever your name is, get a good lawyer. Because I'm just saying, I think your time in the limelight is dimming.
Well, I mean,
that's a good line.
I just took half of what you. No, not even a half, because it was just like.
Because that's a little bit too young pop culture for you.
No, it was just like it was long and dragged out. But you were talking about how does anybody recover from that is. And I'm going to give you a prime example of one person right now that's pulling it and doing everything and as of right now, it's getting away. It's Trump.
You're wrong. I mean, the thing about it is Trump's issues came to the forefront mostly within the last couple of years. These have been rumors that have been going on for Sean Combs since
but I'm just
2009.
Saying he's gotten raided. He's trying to pull everything he can out of it to kind of get out.
The military action that happened on Puff. I'm going to call them different names all the time. Puff Daddy's homes was nowhere near what they did in Mar-a-Lago. Now, I would have loved to have seen the same raid, to be honest with you, because I'd love to see some people shit in their pants, because they had helicopters and they actually have in Miami, they had the fucking boats out there as well, raiding the Miami house. I mean,
well, Trump might have thought it was him with the helicopters going around and all stuff being in Miami, because
the point about that is apparently over this Easter weekend after the raid happened in Mar-a-Lago, he was asking a shitload about what's going on about these raids. I mean, I can infer whatever I want to infer, but I'm just like, maybe he does got something to be scared about.
Anything's possible.
There is no doubt. So, but we can go on.
That was a great story.
Was it? Okay, yeah. But we can go on to a
lot.
We're going to go on to a fabulous lighter story now that Michael's brought to the table.
And it is not going to take a lot amount of time or whatever, because.
Well, good thing I have more.
Well, good, because. Oh, wait, that's not a good thing. Sorry about that. Everybody knows that the eclipse is coming in the next week.
I'm excited. I'm pulling my kid out of school that day to go watch it.
I think this is really the first time that I've seen a complete one.
I can't say. I know I've seen partial. I can't. But here in Texas, it's like we're here in Dallas right now, and actually for the total eclipse, I mean, we're like maybe 10, 15 miles from the line that's going to be the total eclipse.
Yeah, but I mean, we really are be dark. We'll be dark.
Yeah, we will. I mean, we'll get.
How long will we
probably
dark?
get. It's going to probably last for about an hour. I'm not going to say dark for an hour. But
and they say it even gets cold during that same time period.
Oh, that would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
I mean, but the one thing,
kind of freaky,
so it's
actually.
going to be. So I'm sure we'll talk about it once the eclipse occurs or whatever. But the one thing I just wanted to talk about is my brother and sister-in-law both work at Forney ISD, which is in Kaufman County. Mm-hmm. Kaufman County it's got about 200,000 people in it. They, on this eclipse, they're expecting another 200,000 people to be in the city. So the
because they're actually a little bit more into it, aren't they?
What? Yeah, they're in the direct. Yeah. They're in the direct line. So they basically have filed a state of emergency and so.
Now I know this story. I did read about this.
So the kids are off that day, so they are not going to be there. And then originally the teachers were going to be there, and now it's just like with all the traffic that they're expecting, the teachers are not getting. So everybody in Kaufman County School District, they're out of school that day just because of all the stuff.
But your brother and sister-in-law's house would be a good spot.
There would be. And they got a pool. They got a pool.
Go the day before.
What do you mean go the day before?
Stay at their house.
No, he can go early in the morning if he wants to. But apparently there's a lot of parties also going on in Dallas, because all these glasses that are being bought and things of that sort. My concern is, though, because what time does the eclipse happen?
It's going to be between 1 and 2 in the afternoon.
So if I start drinking at 12 for those eclipse parties and we have a podcast recording that night, we're going to be kind of fucked.
It would be no different than when the State of the Union that never went because
That will be on a paid subscription one because it was a little
my
bit
God.
like racy on that one.
well, it wasn't. It was probably a little incoherent too because you were just slurring words.
I mean,
right and left.
if there's a way that I can actually even manipulate the video a little bit, I would actually put it out there. But because I cut half myself off, the entire
and it probably cut his worst half off.
No, it did.
It cut
no.
your best half.
This is my best half. It cut this half off.
But like I said, the eclipse, because they're saying probably in this area we probably won't get another eclipse like that for another 20 years. But it's a big thing coming here, and it's like over the Dallas area. I mean, we're just right off.
Well,
the
you
total.
actually have one of your longtime friends who actually is going to be in town next week for the Rangers games that you're going to, but she's staying over because of it.
Well,
right?
we don't know yet. She was thinking
Well, she
about.
better. We'll go out drink.
Well, she was thinking because she was going to drive back from Houston, but then she's thinking about staying because it's like it could be all the traffic and everything else is. So
Well, I know Jennifer, my best friend, is also going to be in town as well, so that's going to be kind of fun too. And she'll be actually at our recording next week.
Oh, cool. But I mean, it's just kind of. I mean, the bigger deal is like you got people that are getting off school because of this, and the teachers.
Well, I'm glad that they're pulling people off the roads and things of that sort. You don't need that much issues out there because people are going to be drinking.
I mean, Forney roads, number one is they can't handle a lot of big traffic, and so I get that.
Anything out in East Texas are fucked up when it comes to the roads. There's no doubt about it. But also, there are so many conspiracy theories that are associated to this. It's kind of interesting. So I think, Michael, what you should bring the next podcast, after the actual eclipse, is all the conspiracy theories that came out about it, because there's shitloads out there. I'm just like, it's the end of the world. It's all this and all the prophets and all that. It's like, yeah.
Well,
okay,
maybe
whatever.
we couldn't because maybe it would be the end of the world. So this ultimately then could be the last podcast.
Just for
that'd
my
be so sad.
just because of my
don't
luck,
know what else happens.
I guarantee I'll probably be the only one left, and I'll be actually doing the podcast by myself.
Oh God, then our viewership would just tank.
Well, yeah, because they're all dead. It would be a long podcast.
If an asteroid
though.
came down, Rick would be like, we have to do the podcast. Meanwhile, Michael's trying to spend time with his family. Rick's like, no, man, we go down the ship. This is what we're doing.
let's do a live stream.
Yep.
That'd be awesome. A live stream at the end of the world.
And so
We could do that.
You could do that.
there's a map of how it's kind of go or whatever through the state of Texas.
And I don't know if you actually have the link or something. There's actually a link out there that really kind of tells you where it's going to hit in the country and to what degree it is and how long it's going to be, which I found very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I sent you, because there was a TikTok video or whatever.
Well, I think it was Instagram.
Or Instagram,
Yeah,
one of the
Instagram.
two. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I lose track of all that stuff is. But it says Texas is supposed
social
to get
media sucks
100%
up.
coverage, and it says it begins at 12:20. Total begins around 138.
Start
Maximum,
drinking
I guess,
11.
would be 140. And
I
then
can pour
it
my
would
first
end
cocktail at 11.
around 3 o'clock.
It ends at 3 o'clock here?
Well, it said Texas, so I don't know exactly where.
So, I mean...
And you're about to play that song.
I have
can
my
hear it.
outro ready to go.
I could name that soon in 3 notes.
Which means it's going to be partial that entire time or full. Yeah, we could drink the entire time.
Which version is this?
This is my remix. Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Kim Carnes does Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That's the 80s. You're not
but
an
then,
80s
But
baby.
I like, what is it? It's something French. She does the is it Nikki French or whatever? I like her vision because it's more of like a upbeat. Which hers?
This is the Bonnie Tyler version.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I do like Bonnie Tyler's better.
No, which is the one? I got to look it up. Is it Nikki French?
Do you know? Who sings like the
Big hair in the 80s. This is
Yeah.
awesome. I love it. Us 80 kids love it.
Give me just a moment.
Our research is going to get on top of that.
There's all sorts
But
of
yes,
versions
I
of
think
this.
it's going to be. I mean, I've never seen. I don't believe I've seen a total eclipse. So I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like and how it really kind of how northern Texas in particular deals with it. we're crazy drivers or in traffic and just kind of like screwed up in the head as it is. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes out, and let alone the Texans who are conspiracy theorists.
I'm just looking because it's like I think it's Nikki French.
All right. Well, with that being said,
Nikki
Okay,
French, 1995.
Yeah,
There you go.
Find that version. I like that version.
Alex, how many minutes are we on?
We're on 25 minutes.
All right. Let me try to get through this.
Okay,
last
you
topic.
can do it. He can still find it. We can end the show on that song.
We can definitely end it. So, I mean,
That'll be our
again,
outro.
we just came off of Easter weekend, as you know, and typically, as you see, the presidential candidates come out there and they do their little tiptoe and high five and all this, and of course that also included President Biden. He was out there and he posted some great little messages out there, basically to the Christians and happy Easters and God bless and all this other stuff. The normal stuff out there. What do you think the other nominee did? In all caps. Now, just so everybody knows, when we actually post something or text something and we put it in all caps, that's really yelling, isn't it? We're yelling now. So I just want to kind of like. That's the best one. That's the best
Nikki,
one.
That's Nikki French.
That's the best version.
That's what 90s. I was born in 84. I love growing up in the 90s.
I mean,
What a
I
cool
loved this
time.
song when it came out. And it was
You
just
you
like,
literally were 6 years old out of that 90s. I mean,
What a time to
I have to
party.
tell you this. And don't get me wrong, I do love. I mean, I was knee deep in working full time and things of that sort in the career in the 90s. The best time was the late 80s, and that time I was going to college in London. And that's when the music scene was just fucking blowing up.
Yeah.
And everything and anything. And you were doing that transition from the 80s to the 90s of sorts. I'd already seen it during the early 80s when you went from 79 to 80 and you went from heavy metal into that kind of like, 80s rock type situation, when Madonna hit out in 83. So I will to this day say late 80s was the best musically few years of time as a kid.
well, I thought. Well, I am a few years older than you, but I was in the disco era, and I thought the disco had a lot of great songs.
Well, no, there's no doubt it did. I mean, the mid 70s was great, but I also will tell you that as you get into the late 70s and some of that heavy metal, Journey, Chicago, REO Speedwagon. Rush, all those were just phenomenal. I mean, and I really do believe that's the whole genre that really went from the extreme heavy metal into kind of like bridging that over into the more kind of like popish type stuff in regards to that. So, and I think they should be recognized for that for
Yes.
sure. So, but anyhow, I don't know why we're playing Irish music now, but
I know you missed Nikki. What happened to
No,
Nikki?
I'm ready. I'm at 28 minutes. Listen, I'm ready for my exit.
Oh,
I haven't finished my rant shit.
Oh.
So we do this on another one.
Well, that's going to go into like another week.
So is
All
that-
right. Rant.
Okay. I will do part of this on another one.
Okay.
Because I will just simply talk because I really want to keep it close to Easter weekend as much as possible. As I indicated, President Biden went out there and he did his little posts and things of that sort, and he did the whole Easter thing and the Easter bunny and the eggs and stuff like that. And of course, I think around 9 a.m. we definitely had former President Trump out there saying Happy Easter, and that was his only post on his Truth Social. But he decided about 1 o'clock that he wanted to go out there again. And this I'll read real quick, and we're going to end it right there.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a promise? Okay.
It is a promise. It is a
You
promise.
got a mute button, don't you, Alex?
do.
It is
Okay.
a promise because I could literally go into all his
Well,
fucking
we know because he did like 70. He did 70 this week. 90. Okay.
90
70,
fucking
90.
posts. But this really is the cake. This is the one out there. Happy Easter to all, including, and this is all cap letters, which who fucking types in cap letters all the time? Happy Easter to all, including crooked and corrupt prosecutors and judges that are doing everything possible to interfere with the presidential election of 2024 and put me in prison, including those many people that I completely and totally despise because they want to destroy America, a now failing nation like deranged Jack Smith, who is evil and sick, Miss Fanny Wade, who said she hardly knew that, quote, special prosecutor, only to find that he spent years loving her. long before the Georgia persecution for the President Trump began, and thereby making the case against me null, void, and illegal. And lazy on violent crime Alvin Bragg, who with Crooked Joe's DOJ thugs unfairly working in the DA's office illegally indicted me on a case he never wanted to bring, and virtually all legal scholars said is a case that should not have been brought, is breaking the law in doing so. Was turned down by all law enforcement authorities and is not a crime. Happy Easter, everybody!
Happy Easter!
That's
Happy
Trump
Easter.
for you. That's who you want to become president, MAGA cult people?
Need to bring it further
Get
in.
a life.
Longer in. So we get some of the chorus. Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us for another podcast episode of Buddies, Booze, Banters, Unfiltered Conversations. I am Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex.